Hi. I think my main advice, targeted towards new tierers, would be ask questions. Whether you're aiming for a tier 5000 or a tier 50, ask questions. Those questions could vary, focused on literally any aspect of tiering, like how much energy should I be using, or what songs are the best for tiering. Whatever you need. People are willing to, want to, help, and you should take advantage of that. Also, never use 10 times energy for anything below tier 10, I swear to God, unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, so advice time. My absolute top piece of advice is to plan ahead. You want to figure out what event you're tiering at least a few months in advance, especially if you're free to play, because it'll give you enough time to save resources. Getting event cards will be top priority. Mastery of your cards is next. With the new system being implemented, I think around 3rd anniversary leveling one card up to Mastery level 5 will be the most efficient use of resources. Energy usage, 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, and 10 times are the most efficient. You're really only going to want to use 10 times through the whole event if you're going for tier 10. 7 times and 5 times are best for tier 100, 5 times for anything tier 5000 and higher. 3 times is mainly for casual tiering. You can switch around as needed because every event is going to have different cutoffs. An event like Mafa 4 is going to have a much higher cutoff than something like Haruka Mixed Event.
This is aimed towards first-time tierers or people wanting to attempt tiering, as I am also fairly new to the tiering community and am not seasoned enough to give advice to seasoned tierers. Anyways, I would advise against aiming for a super high tier on your first tiering run. I say this meaning, if you have never tiered before and have an event you want to T100+. 4. I would recommend just messing around with other events up to 3-5 months before the event you want to T100 on, so you have time to regain materials if needed, and trying to tier on it without a specific goal so that you can get a feel for how much time you're willing to put into a run, and so you know your limits when it comes to tiering. And C, just to test the waters so you know what to expect for a T100 run, plus that way you could also know for sure if you definitely want to T100+ on an event and are willing to spend all the time that would be required for that tier. Also, it is very important to keep in mind that the time needed for a T100+ run will highly vary depending on what unit or character said event is focused around, due to the competition in certain events for tiers possibly being much more than other events. Generally, I think event popularity based off of the unit goes somewhat like this, in this order: N25, X's, VBS, Leonid, MAM-J. Keep in mind that this may also vary depending on if the event is limited, permanent, or a mixed event. And if it's a mixed event, the popularity of said event will most likely depend on what characters are included in it. The end. I hope this is helpful and I didn't just yap a bunch of unrealistic nonsense with this.
Hi, I can't say I'm too knowledgeable in this field, but from what I have noticed, some people who are newer to tiering tend to overlook the event points that can be gained from 2 stars or 1 stars. I wouldn't say that they are as good as a 4-star event character, but they definitely suffice, and to a great extent. As for something for everyone in general, I think that it can be easy for people to get caught up in the moment, but we should always prioritize our health when tiering. For example, taking breaks, staying hydrated, eating properly, and getting some exercises as stretching.
The most important thing when it comes to tiering is resources. This mainly includes energy and gems. People talk about stamina a lot as well, since most people aren't used to playing for multiple hours straight. This mainly applies for higher tiers. I know someone who planned to T20 by doing only 4 hours per day and changed to more for trying to get a T10 due to the large amount of resources they held. The best way to build stamina for the people who aren't used to playing long hours is filling, whether that be in a scheduled environment or something casual. Like the ping room system that our 8SS and TT have since, that requires playing at least 1 hour and more, can be added with discretion and prudency from yourself. Don't ever strain yourself. For CC tiering, don't worry about picking expert, master for better event points, since at the end of the day your games will be what matters most. It can be easier to get strained this way, so always make sure you have water and food nearby. There are resources for best difficulties to play, however, if you want to be optimal with your energy use. Lower resources. For marathon, turn off your brain and love envy as I suggested. With high resources, you can count on most things being dealt with 24/7. Envy, since it is the fastest sound games per hour, will always be top priority no matter the game mode. This rule only changes if you are poor and have no games L and F or your fave long song melt. I have seen multiple people pass out mid-song or right at the start, missing shifts. Even I have done it kya in everything. You matter whether as a filler or tierer. We help each other. ed% is the best way to gain event points. The conversion from talent to event points is around 10,000, approximately equals 1% if I recall. This is why you also invest resources into upgrading trees, cards, and items.